There was once a very poor miller who had 3 sons. When the miller died, he left behind his mill, his donkey, and his black cat, Puss. His eldest son claimed the mill, his middle son took the donkey, and his youngest son was left with nothing but the cat. The 3rd son, Jasper, was awfully upset. He missed his father, but he was also very worried about money. Now that his father was dead, Jasper had nobody to care for him. Other than Puss, the only thing he owned was a small purse of coins, barely enough to buy food for a week. "It's not fair," he sobbed. "My brothers get everything. The mill will make money by grinding wheat into flour. The donkey will make money by pulling a cart. But what can I do with this cat? I suppose I could eat it or sell it for fur. But after that, I will die of hunger." The cat looked at his master, raised himself onto his 2 back legs and started to speak. "Don't eat me," he said. "I'm much more useful than a mill or a donkey. If you trust me, I will make you very rich." Jasper was astonished to hear his cat speaking. He had always known that Puss was clever, but this was something new. "How can you make me rich?" said Jasper. "You're just a cat." "Leave it to me," said Puss. "I just need a pair of boots and a hat. If I don't look smart, nobody will take me seriously." So Jasper spent the last of his money on a little pair of boots and a small red cap. Puss looked very smart in his new outfit. He thanked Jasper, then headed straight to the king's palace. On the way, he caught a big fat rabbit in a bag. He carried it up to the palace and knocked on the door. "I would like to see the king," he announced. "I have a gift for him from my master." The king was very fond of gifts, so Puss was quickly shown in. Puss swept off his hat, bowed low and said, "My master, the Marquis of Carabas, would like to present your majesty with this gift." He held out the bag containing the rabbit. The king was very pleased, but he had never heard of the Marquis. Of course, that's because there was no Marquis of Carabas. Puss was really talking about his master Jasper. Every day, Puss went back to the palace with another gift. He took fish and birds and ferrets, all animals he caught himself. The king was thrilled with his gifts. "I would like to meet this master of yours," he said to Puss. "Where does he live?" Puss was an excellent liar. He thought quickly and said, "He lives in the big castle, your majesty, the one surrounded by cornfields." "I thought the wicked ogre lived in that castle," said the king. "Oh no," said Puss. "My master defeated him long ago. The castle belongs to him now." "Then I shall visit him there next week," said the king. "I can't wait to meet this Marquis." Puss was very happy. All was going to plan. Now he just needed to capture the castle and make Jasper look like a wealthy man. In his time at the palace, Puss had discovered that the king and his daughter liked to ride around the countryside each day. Their favourite route led along by the river, where the view was very beautiful. The next day, Puss led his master to the river. "You must do as I say," he said. "Just swim in the river, and soon you will meet the king." While Jasper was swimming, Puss stole his master's tattered clothes and hid them under a rock. Then he waited for the royal carriage to approach. As the king drew near, Puss started to run up and down. He yowled and shouted at the top of his voice. My master! He has been robbed and pushed in the river, and now he is drowning! Please save him!" The king stopped his carriage and ordered his servants to save the Marquis. They pulled Jasper out of the river, soaked and spluttering. He didn't have a clue what was going on. "Give this man some clothes," ordered the king. Jasper was given a smart new set of clothes. By the time he was dried and dressed, he looked just like a rich Marquis. And he looked very handsome. "It is a pleasure to meet you," said the king. "Thank you so much for your generous gifts." Jasper was still confused, but he smiled and accepted the king's thanks. Puss stepped forwards and spoke to the king. "You must join us for dinner tonight," he said. "My master loves having guests to the castle." The king accepted gratefully. "An excellent plan," he said. "We can go there after our ride. Will you join us, Marquis?" Jasper agreed and set off in the coach with the king and princess. Puss ran ahead of the coach. When he saw men working in the cornfields, he ran up to them and said,
If anyone asks you who owns this land, you must answer the Marquis of Carabas. And if you don't, the wicked ogre will eat you up.
The farmers were very afraid of the ogre, so they all agreed. When the carriage passed the fields, the king called out,
"Who owns this land?"
And the farmers replied, "The Marquis of Carabas." The king was very impressed. Next, Puss ran ahead to the wicked ogre's castle. He knocked on the door, took off his hat, and stepped boldly into the entrance hall. The ogre laughed out loud to see a little cat in a pair of boots.
"Who are you?"
he boomed.
"And what are you doing in my castle?" "I have heard of your great skills," said Puss, "and I wanted to see them for myself. People say that you can change shape, but I just can't believe it's true." "Of course it's true," roared the ogre. "I can change into anything I want." "Can you change into an animal?" asked Puss. "Ha!" shouted the ogre. "That's easy." And with a loud crack, he turned into an enormous lion. Puss was very frightened. He quaked in his boots as the lion prowled around him, snarling and showing its massive teeth. "That's very impressive," said Puss. "But I suppose it must be quite easy for a big ogre to change into a big fierce animal. I bet you can't change into a very tiny creature like a mouse." "Just you watch," shouted the ogre. Crack! He changed into a tiny mouse. This was exactly what Puss wanted. Puss was excellent at catching mice. He pounced on the mouse, caught it between his paws, and gobbled it right up. Now that the ogre was dead, Puss set to work on the castle. He ran down to the kitchens and ordered the staff to prepare a feast. The staff all cheered with joy to hear that the ogre was dead. Then they busily set to work. Puss lit a fire in every room and lined the entrance hall with hundreds of candles. By the time he was finished, the castle looked beautiful. The royal carriage drew up. Jasper showed the king and princess into the castle. They gasped with delight at the splendid feast that awaited them, and no one was more surprised than Jasper. The feast was a great success. Jasper sat next to the princess and they talked together all night. It wasn't long before Jasper and the princess fell in love. The king gave them his blessing to marry, and there was a big royal wedding. Jasper and the princess lived in great luxury, but Jasper never forgot where he came from. He was always kind and generous to the poor, and he always listened to the good advice of his clever friend, the Puss in Boots. The end.